I'm a big fan of Elise Stefanik, the congresswoman from New York who just went to Israel and stood before their parliament, the Knesset, and said, Hamas must be completely wiped out. Good on you, Elise Stefanik. I hope you've got a huge future in your political career because you sure deserve it. Claire Lopez, there's a lady in the Congress who I've had a luncheon with. I'm a big admirer of her. Her name is Elise Stefanik. She just gave a speech to the Knesset in Israel. She stood as a representative of the United States in front of the Israeli parliament, the Knesset, and called for the group's elimination. And the group she's referring to is Hamas. She said, quote, total victory starts, but only starts with wiping those responsible for October 7th off the face of the earth. There can be no retrievable dignity for Hamas and its backers. Oh, boy, I wish there were more of her that literally can stand up and tell the truth to the world. I'm a big admirer. She's got a huge political future, and I hope she doesn't stop as just, and I don't mean that dismissively, as just a congresswoman from New York. She's got a big, bright future ahead of her.
Yeah, I couldn't agree with you more, Barry. I also got to watch that speech of hers before the Knesset. It was outstanding. It was exceptional. She is truly, truly a wonderful and exemplary representative of the United States and on the right side between good and evil as regards Hamas on October the 7th. Kudos to Representative Stefanik.
She added something that I want to highlight as well, and this is also a quote. There's no excuse, she's referring to Biden here. There's no excuse for an American president to block aid to Israel, aid that was duly passed by the Congress. There's no excuse to ease sanctions on Iran, paying a $6 billion ransom to the world's leading state sponsor of terror, or to dither and hide while our friends fight for their lives. No excuse, full stop. And this is after Biden lied, saying he wouldn't hold up aid, and then he did. And Israel is desperate for those weapons to defend themselves, and the Congress passed it in a bipartisan fashion, and Biden is illegally blocking delivery of that aid. Well done, Elise Stefanik, for calling out Biden on his duplicity when it comes to Israel.
You know, very quickly here, I think perhaps that President Joe Biden and members of his administration really do not understand where the American people, the majority of the American people, are on Israel, never mind the people of Israel in support of their own government led by Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu. I think there's a very deep misunderstanding on the part of our administration for where the support really lies. But Representative Stefanik, she knows, and she spoke of it very eloquently.
You know, on that note, in polling in Israel, if elections were held today that Biden thinks should be held today because he knows better for Israel than the Israelis, Netanyahu would win again, according to the polls that were released last week and the week before. And in fact, his support is growing. And I might add that support for Israel's war against Hamas, a defensive war that they did not want, that they were forced into, approaches 80% of Americans supporting Israel in their fight for survival. Joe Biden is literally pandering to the Arab vote in Michigan because that's the
which
one
is not
state
overly enamored of him in any case, because they, some of them at least, perceive his policies as too pro-Israel.
And he's desperate to win at least one of the swing states. He's losing in polling, depending on which polls you're looking at, in almost every single swing state. And if those polls hold, he will lose in a massive landslide. This is all political pandering in the hopes of at least capturing the Michigan vote, where in some cities, like Dearborn, Michigan, the Somali vote controls. And we know who comes from that district. Her name is AOC.
Let's see. But I think you're right. I've seen the same polling results that you have. And it's not just the polling as it was a week ago, 2 weeks ago. it is progressively moving more and more away from a Joe Biden reelection.
We'll know in 6 months.